First of all, I think nowadays people look at, when you're dating someone in a relationship, in marriage, people look at a relationship one to the fact that, all right, it's either going to work or it's not. And if it works, let's take it to the next level, or I never want to get married. And some people have the wrong thing, perspective on getting married as a business contract. They take half my money, this, that, and the third.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Rap podcast. We are back again with our friend to the show. He's becoming sort of a regular, Mr. Jaime Woods. Welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure, guys. As I said before, it is a pleasure to be on the show. I just had to come on again because, every time we link up, it's always a great time, guys. So thanks for having me on, guys. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
We do
no
appreciate
problem. I am your host, Mr. J Echo. How you living?
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Philosophical.
And today we wanted to tackle something that we haven't really spoken about on this channel, or I'm not sure people are really speaking about it on any channels, but we wanted to talk about how to raise your sexual market value. So, I mean, we'll start with Mr. Woods. So first, can you start by defining, at least to you, what does sexual market value mean?
So sexual market value, it's actually becoming a bigger trend on YouTube and everywhere right now at the moment. But what it basically means, in my own definition, is how appealing are you to the opposite sex or to anybody? What are you bringing to the dating market that nobody else is bringing? How are you differentiating yourself? Basically, that's what that is, basically. So things such as, attractiveness, status, finances, these all play a part in your SMV. Of course, if you're low on these things, guess what? Your SMV is going to be low, which means you're not going to attract the type of people you want to attract. If your SMV is high, you're going to be dating in abundance. You're going to be having a bunch of different options because your SMV is high. And of course, I'm going to talk about later on as to why it's high, like why there's so many people that come to you when your SMV is high.
Okay. So where do you? That's actually a good point. Where do you prioritize the sexual market value in terms of dating? Is that the first thing you look at before approaching a woman? Because at the end of the day, it's you have times where a woman approaches a man, but do you think from a man's perspective, and I know I have, approach women based off of their sexual market value, how they're attractive, how they walk, what they have on, their smile, if they have makeup on, their hair, their dress, their swag, how they talk. In my opinion, those are some of the categories of the sexual market value. I mean, because sorry to cut you off, Jay, but it puts you in a different category for a certain type of men. Like I consider us here as, I know there's a different category for high value men. You know what I mean? High value men.
We're in the process of that. We're in the process.
We're kind of in between middle and high value men. But looking at those things as far as a woman, I mean, those are the certain things that straight up catches your eye, from an attractive standpoint.
I mean, go ahead, but I think it goes beyond just attraction. Like, I mean, like Jamie was saying, like, it's not just how good you look, because it's easy to, well, it's not easy, but you can look good. That's only half the battle. It's also like what your finances look like, what your, all of that sort of stuff. So it's sort of putting a term on all of those things that we were speaking about, or we've kind of been speaking about, in terms of have standards for what you expect. Like, what are your career goals? What is your current career status? Are you working towards owning a business or all of that sort of stuff? Like that increases your stock.
Yeah, I agree with that. The driven, ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think you don't really understand that or know that until you really get to know a person, because there are a lot of men and women out here who can what I call mirage their bank account. Can really, say, hey, I'm trying this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, you spending more than what you're bringing in. You know what I mean? Like nowadays it's about investments, because the job market right now is struggling. How are you going to reinvent yourself and innovate yourself to the fact that you're preparing yourself not just for tomorrow, but 5 to 10 years down the road? And I think Jaime brought up a good idea as far as the sexual market value. Like, when you look at a woman, the attractiveness has got to last between 5 to 10 years. But from a J perspective, as far as like, okay, what are you doing not only to keep yourself up, but what are you doing on the other side of the table? Are you starting your own business? Are you working? Are you looking to work? And I think, and we've touched on a little bit of these topics, to the fact that I do feel like that sexual market value, if it's really high, a lot of times the personality or the goal driven and the ambitious can be really low sometimes. And if you can find something in the middle, I mean, go after it by all means.
I think personally, I think it's like you said, it's a balancing act. But I know for me personally, for instance, like talking about in terms of just increasing your sexual market value, like for instance, when I'm not working, I'm not trying to do nothing, because I don't feel like when my money's right, when all of that is right, that's when I feel like, oh, I'm that dude. So then, I'm cutting my hair on a regular basis. I'm in the gym again on a regular basis, all of that sort of stuff. Because, sure, if you're broke, you can work out, you can do all that other stuff. But for me, it's like, all right, it's fine if I look good, just based off swag, I could pull somebody. But if I'm trying to build something, and that's where I am right now in terms of my relationship goals, I'm trying to build something with somebody. If I'm broke, I ain't building nothing.
Like they always used to say, two broke people don't belong together. And I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? If you're trying to build, you don't want to be with somebody that's broke.
And
or, if you're broke, you don't want to be with somebody who's trying to build, because it puts you in a certain place. I get it. Yeah.
And from like on the sexual side of things, like, sure, broke dudes get play all the time, but
yeah,
at a certain point, we've spoken about it before. Like, are you looking for a sugar mama, or are you looking for
yeah. Love to hear your thought on this, Jaime. What is your thought, since you're kind of in the middle of the dating scene right now?
Yeah, so I think SMV is one of those things, and I'm gonna call it SMV for you're going forward. That way it's just easier.
Yeah,
I think it's a good term. Yeah.
Yeah, SMV is something that exists that we don't really think about that much. And the reason why I wanted to make this podcast is to make more people aware of it, because I've noticed there are a lot of single people that don't really got anything going on in terms of dating, things like that. And that isn't to knock them or anything like that. That's I just feel like society's kind of lied to people, and they've told them, okay, you could be yourself. Okay, cool. You be yourself. That's good, but that's not what I promote on my channel. I don't promote you to be yourself. I promote you to be your best self.
There you go.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because you bring up a very excellent point. Do you feel like people wait to date to try to bring up their sexual, their SMV, their sexual?
So here's the thing.
That's a good point.
You have people that they wait for motivation. So they wait for the girl to walk into their life. Maybe the girl wants a guy that's not all that. That's because there are some girls like that. They want to date the low in terms of attraction. Because they feel that those people are going to be more loyal to you. So what happens is you're going to get a good girl in your life. And then you start to pick up that motivation. Then you have some people that have that motivation, that are grinding, then they get a girl, and then the motivation drops. And what I try to teach people is that no matter what, whether you got a girl or you don't got a girl, that motivation is always got to be there. Straight line, consistency. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel and do a bunch of crazy things. As long as you're consistent throughout time, you're going to see success. And so with the way the dating market is, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, I don't know if I've talked about this before in a different video, but what I've noticed in the dating market is that there are a lot more people, millennials, my generation, people in their mid to late 20s going into their 30s that are single, me included. And the reason for that is because of society. Society lied to us. They told us, be yourself. It's okay. You'll find someone. Bro, with the way the dating market is, with the amount of options that we each, men and females, have, you have to differentiate yourself. You have to be the best form of yourself, or else you're not going to get the girl. It's like the job market, for example. What are you going to put in that resume that's going to differentiate you from the competition? So that's the thing. You have to get as much things on that resume as possible to get the job that you want. Same thing goes with getting a girl or getting a guy. You have to differentiate yourself. You have to hit the gym. You got to look good. It sucks that it has to be that way, but that's the way it is, especially now. Like, you have to differentiate yourself and keep improving in all aspects: personality, mentally, spiritually, physically, finances. Everything needs to be on point.
And it's funny you mentioned that. I just want to bring a perspective of kind of from a married perspective to the fact that, first of all, I think nowadays people look at, when you're dating someone in a relationship, in marriage, people look at a relationship, one, to the fact that, all right, it's either going to work or it's not. And if it works, let's take it to the next level, or I never want to get married. And some people have the wrong thing, perspective on getting married as a business contract. They take half my money, this, that, and the third. So from a married perspective, as far as the sexual market value with my wife, is that my wife is constantly in the gym. She's constantly, wanting to do better for herself. She's constantly researching on how to better herself. And like, for me, that makes me feel more attracted to her, because it also brings a perspective of, she's very down to earth. I can talk to her about anything, and she knows it. She's constantly in the gym. And what that does entail is that it causes me to better myself in the gym. It causes me to, all right, I got to step my game up when it comes to, we make good money in the household, but it's just the little things. It's the little things. Because in order for a marriage to succeed, you have to communicate. You got to communicate. And that's where you have to really, the sexual market value is 50% physical and it's 50% communication. Because when you're married to someone, you have to communicate what you want and what you need sexually. If you need to tell your wife, like, hey, baby, I need you in the gym, you need to lose weight. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. Don't say it in a disrespectful way, but I mean, you've got to, you gotta
finesse that one. That's what I'll say.
I mean, you gotta you gotta finesse that in a way of, let's do it together. Like, hey, something is wrong to where I'm not looking at you from the same light I did before. So, but when you're married, it's different. You can't just walk away. You can't just step out. You know what I mean? It's more about, you've got to communicate, you know what I mean? And you've got to continue that sexual drive, that sexual, like, you got to do the little things, because when you're married, you're seeing each other every day. It's all this stuff about, we have sex every day, this, that, and the third. 9 times out of 10, you're not seeing each other every day when you're in a relationship. And when you're living together, it's much different. You've got to have a set of, all right, she's gone to work, I miss her. Or she's going on vacation, a couple of days, I miss her. It's got to be that softened blow to where, like, man, I miss her. It's different when you're seeing her every day, man. It's a different ball game. It's a totally different ball game. So I like this topic, to the fact that the sexual market value, you've got to continue the things even when you're married.
Yeah,
you got to. You got to.
There was the analogy you made, Jamie, about it's like a job. There's I've said this like 5 different times on this show, but like I work in education, and one of the things that we teach people is we're trying to get you employer competitive as opposed to employer ready, basically. And the difference is, yeah, you can be employer ready, which is just like, oh, somebody could technically hire you for a job and you're good, versus employer competitive, which is like, oh, the second your resume comes across their desk, they're like, oh, we want this person. Are they fielding any other offers? What can we offer this person to make sure they come here to us, as opposed to, oh, this is a nice little candidate that might work for what we need. You know, it's like, oh, this person is dope. Let's do what we need to do on our end to figure out how to bring them here. You know, and like even when I was something that somebody sent me once was like 10 it was like 5 or 10 questions that you need to ask that employers want you to ask but nobody ever does. And one of them was, what ways do you think that you can improve, or what concerns do you have about your work environment that I should be aware of, right? And like when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna ask them how to fix their situation. Like that's going to immediately disqualify me. But the second I started doing it, everybody was like, oh, thank you for asking, because you know you're interviewing us as well. And it's just like, yeah, that's like, as soon as that change happened for me, it's like, yeah, it's not just about what do I want something from you. It's also about, what do you want from me? Because you obviously called me because I can provide you something that you don't have. And it's the same thing on the SMV side, where it's like, what are you providing to somebody that they don't have? What are you adding to their life? Whether it's sexual, whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, mental, like Jaime said, as opposed to, you know, you just show up, believe in your presence is a blessing, but you haven't really done anything to earn that. You know, confidence is great. I appreciate it. But if you're confident for no reason, that's when you play yourself all the time. And there are a lot of dudes and women out here who are playing themselves like, oh, I'm a catch, but all we're catching really from you is bills and some other stuff.
Bills is bullshit. Go ahead and say exactly. So we're gonna go ahead and let Jaime, you know, like before, we're gonna let him just have the last floor and wrap it up, Jaime.
Okay. Well, just to piggyback,
do it again.
Just to piggyback off of what Jay just said, man, he was going into what I was trying to get into, to where I was talking about, okay, like, I feel like a lot of people, this is also an issue with this time, like with society nowadays, is that I feel like a lot of people, they want what they want, right? They want the girl with the curves and the hourglass figure, and that they can walk this way like Rihanna and this, that. But what are you providing? What are you putting on the table? And so a lot of people's egos get all over the place, because they think, oh, my presence is a blessing. You know, everyone told me that I'm an amazing person and blah, blah, blah. But what are you putting on the table? What can you bring to the table that they don't have? How can you improve someone's life? Because at the end of the day, guys, that's how relationship works. It's teamwork. So you're bringing something and they're bringing something. And when it's together, it becomes something powerful. And so that's why SMV is important, because the thing is, if you're valuable, if your sexual market value is high, you're bringing something to the table, because that isn't just attraction. That doesn't just mean that you look good. That also means that another thing is confidence. Confidence is important, and it's something that a lot of people in life look for. It's a big leadership role. Women do want a leader. They want someone that can be, that is decisive, that knows what they want in life, that can guide. And so that's one of the other qualities. Finances. They want someone that isn't necessarily rich or a billionaire, but someone that's well put together financially, so they can afford things. If they need help with something, guess what? I got the finances to back us up. You know, things like that. personality wise. Like I feel like a lot of people, we kind of don't focus on our mental state too much. We don't focus on things like that. And I always tell people, man, like personality is always important as well. Cause like you need to, I feel like attraction isn't just visually, it's also something mental. So if you can mentally stimulate someone, if someone can talk to you like, wow, this guy is so awesome, he's so intellectual, like you're bringing something to the table by that. Because you're helping them grow as an individual. You're helping them see the light in certain things. You're lighting up a spark that no other person has done before. So imagine being attractive, having some type of money, having a great personality, and you're mentally stable, of course. All those things, and I'm missing a couple other things too that SMV that qualifies for that. Imagine having all those things. You're like Thanos up in here, man. You got the infinity gems, the stones, bro. You're gonna be undefeated. There's gonna be abundance of people that want to be with you, and that's what I tell guys. If you're struggling right now, man, if and I'm not saying that to knock anybody. If you're struggling, because trust me, I was struggling at one point. There was a point where I was very overweight. I wasn't doing anything in life. I was coming home after my 9 to 5, which I was working as a security guard, making $10 an hour, going on a cubicle, going home, doing nothing, watching Game of Thrones reruns, drinking wine on a Monday. I love Game of Thrones, guys, but I'm just saying that was literally my life. I was drinking every day. Like if I was Tyrion Lannister up in here, man, every day drinking wine. And so I was wondering, why don't I have a girl? I thought society said if I'm myself, this, that, but when I was around women, they wanted nothing to do with me because my SMV was low. I didn't have any drive, no ambition. I was overweight. And it matters, guys. Some people need to hear the truth. But bro, you got to step your game up. The more you step your game up, and it's going to happen over time. The more you step your game up, guess what? The more options you're going to get. I'm going to leave it right there.
Yep. So very well put, Jamie. Very well put. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Please subscribe, like all of Jamie Woods' channel. His handle is Jamie Woods, Jaime space Woods on YouTube. Also give him a follow on Instagram at Mr_Woods93. Yep. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. Episodes are up every Sunday and Wednesdays. And please follow our handles on Twitter, Let's Rap 2, Instagram, Let's Rap _, and of course our YouTube is Let's Rap.
And I finally got an Instagram, y'all.
Yeah,
took a while, but I finally got it.
It's blank.
I told you it took. I got it. See, I got it finally. Building it up. That's something different.
Baby steps.
Exactly.
So this is Philosophical. I'm out. Thank you again for having us on the show. Well, it's our show. Jamie, thank you for being a part of this show.
Yep.
Peace.
Thank you, guys. It's a privilege. Thank you.
Take it easy, y'all.